Welcome. If you're wondering why I wait so long in the beginning, it's because if I don't let the camera adjust, it takes minutes for it to adjust later on. So that's why I sit in a quiet stupor before I say hello to you, just to let you know that's what's going on. All right. Welcome. It is mock-up night in the sanctuary, and I was taking a look at you before I got on tonight. And what I noticed is that there are two areas where there's a lot of energy on doing mock-ups. One is relationships, and the other one is finances. So what I'm going to do tonight is clean out your mock-up process, section by section. There's 4 sections to a mock-up. And then I'm going to take a step back and just clear whatever extra energy there is on doing a relationship mock-up and a money mock-up. And then if we have enough time, I'm going to walk you through making a mock-up. I've got all the steps, so I'm going to be telling you exactly how to do the mock-up. So while I'm cleaning out your mock-up space, you can be thinking of something that you would like to mock up at the end of this, okay? All righty. I'm going to set the energy for this with a prayer. As we cleanse and heal the temple of the soul, may it be with the blessing of divinity that it shine its countenance upon us and bring us peace in body, mind, and spirit. Amen. Okay, well, I guess I need to tell you the 4 parts of doing a mock-up so that you can follow along with me. The first part is where you take an idea out of the air, off the astral, and you turn it into a mental image picture of something you want. And what's important about creating a mental image picture of something you want is if you're in the picture, it's important that you put yourself in the picture and that you also express like your emotional reaction to receiving that mock-up. All those goodies have to be in the picture, as well as a time frame and all the details. And so that's the first part of doing a mock-up. The second part is where you run it by Supreme Being to make sure that the way that you're mocking up whatever it is that you're doing is in alignment with you on your spiritual path. The third part is trusting in the universe. After you've tossed your mock-up out to the center of the universe, being able to trust that the universe will collect the matching energy to your mock-up picture and bring that to manifest into the physical plane. The last part of your mock-up is receiving. It's a receiving quadrant, and that's where you receive your mock-up. But what's important about this part of a mock-up is how do you treat the mock-up that you receive back? Or how do you treat yourself, really is more what I should say. Do you validate yourself for doing the mock-up? Do you look at the shortcomings of the mock-up and learn from it as to how you could improve it? Or do you ignore the mock-up and not really validate it when it comes back to you? Or do you complain about it when it comes back to you and not be appreciative? So how you receive things is actually really important too. Okay, now I'm going to backtrack and go to the first section, which is you taking an idea and turning it into a mental image picture of something you would like. There's a lot of lumpy gray energy when I go to look at this first quadrant of your process. Some of it looks like energy of not having been used, like where you haven't stepped into that mock-up space for a while. And the biggest reason I'm hearing is I don't have the time. Good. That lumpy energy is coming out. There's so much that happens in that first quadrant of your mock-up process, like I was saying, you have to create the mental image picture, put all the details in, and set a time frame for it. So I'm looking at all those things right now. There's, what's the word I'm looking for? Invalidation. There's invalidation in your ability to create a mental image picture. There's not, it's not like 100% certainty that you can create that picture. So I'm going to show you where you're holding that invalidation so you can release it. So now what I'm seeing is there's some anger in this first quadrant because of other people getting into your mock-up space. And that is a big reason as to why you don't either go into your mock-up space and create mock-ups, or why, if you are creating mock-ups, sometimes they don't come back to you whole or exactly the way that you mocked them up. So there's a lot of people in here I'm going to be cleaning out. Most of the people in this space want you to be creating for them. There's a word for that. It's called takers. And oftentimes, if somebody is invalidated about their own creative process, they will look at another person who's very creative and want to either move into their space to try to get that information or copy them or try to get that person to create for them. Good. You're releasing this anger, and it's coming out as a red and an orange. Okay, the next energy I see is, I've forgotten how to do a mock-up. Well, you don't have to worry about that because we're going to go through the steps tonight. And to be honest, if any of you want the steps to how to do a mock-up, just email me and I'm happy to send them to you. It's all written out for you. So you can sit down and read and do your mock-up process all on your own without having to be coached. And the next energy that's coming out is, well, it's kind of part of all the people being in there, the competition for your creative energy and ideas. Okay, good. It's finally, this first section is clearing out so that I can see space, I can see within it, and there's a really nice light blue coming in. Okay, ooh, that's good. I'm going to fill that in with gold now. I'm very happy with that. Okay. The second quadrant in your mock-up space is where you talk to Supreme Being and you run the mock-up that you just created by Supreme Being and ask if it's set up in a manner that is in alignment with you on your path. For instance, if I want to create a red bike for myself, if I mock it up and say, I don't really care where it comes from, I just want it, it might come to me as a stolen bike. So the way that I mock things up, I really want it to be in alignment with me and my spiritual path. So that's what this quadrant is all about. And the very first energy that shows up in this quadrant is doubt. Doubt about your ability to mock up, doubt about whether the mock-ups are going to come back, and doubt about your relationship with Supreme Being. I have my work cut out for me. Give me a minute here. A lot of this has to do with your karma with Supreme Being, and that kind of sets you up for your relationship this lifetime. I'm going to suggest that it wouldn't be a bad idea to just sit down one time in your meditation, create a rose for your karma with Supreme Being, and just ground it. Just watch the energy come out and then fill it in with a gold sun. And that would be a great way to start working on your karma with Supreme Being. There's also a level of uncertainty about Supreme Being and your relationship with Supreme Being. So I'm going to do a Supreme Being communication healing. Yeah, and this is where some of that anger, that karma anger is showing up. It's showing up between you and your crown and the gold line of energy that you create above it to a gold sun for Supreme Being. And that anger is showing up in that line of energy connecting you to Supreme Being. So I'm working on that. Yeah, and there's a lot of anger about not being able to get into your mock-up space because it's been so crowded with other energy. So that anger is coming out too. And working the energy in this particular quadrant is really lightening up the whole mock-up space. Supreme Being is actually super happy that you're clearing out this space. I can actually feel Supreme Being being very happy about this. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and fill this section in with a big gold sun. So mostly it was karma and doubt in that section. And there's a lot of bright yellow gold coming into that section. All right, the next section is trusting in the universe. In the last section was when you tossed out your mock-up. So in this section of your mock-up space, you are trusting that the universe is going to pull all of the matching energies to the picture that you just sent out. So it's going to pull the exact same energies to that picture so that it can manifest in the physical plane. So this has to do with your trusting. Trust is interesting in this space because the longer the mock-up doesn't come in, the more the trust dissipates. So there's not a lot of patience. That's the word I'm looking for, patience, when a mock-up takes a while to come in. So I'm addressing that lack of patience, and there's a lot of energy in there that's survival energy, like, I gotta have this. I have to have it. I have to have it now. Where is it? Those are all the energies that are going to keep your mock-up out in future time. Anytime you put attention on it and demands or expectation energy, it'll just push it out into future time and it won't come to you. I was just thinking, this particular quadrant is so simple. All it is just learning how to trust in the universe. All the other ones have all these complex things going on in them. This one is just learning how to trust in the universe, but that is a really big thing to wrap your brain around. Some of this lack of trust in the process comes from a personal lack of trust in oneself. So I'm working in that space now. Clearing an orange energy that gets between you and your ability to trust yourself. Again, there's a lot of white energy, like disbelief, as in the second part when I was working on the Supreme Being. But there's a lot of it's coming out. It's like watching a blanket of white be released. Good. Okay, the white came out and that allowed color to come into that section. And it's like a sky blue in there. And then some sunset colors. I'm going to fill that in with gold. All right. The last section of a mock-up is your receiving quadrant. And as I was saying earlier, that's your ability to receive, and how do you treat that mock-up and yourself after you receive something. First thing, there's a lot of half and unwhole mock-ups in this space that I want to clear out. There's also some destroy energy in here. I see it as black and some snake, so I'm going to erase. Okay, I just needed to take care of that first. There's some weird energy in here about being punished for receiving a mock-up. Like, let's say you receive a really good mock-up and it comes in just the way you want it, and people around you get lit up, go into competition and whack you. So there's punishment that's coming out. And fear of being punished. There's also some invalidation in here about not receiving certain mock-ups. That's a brown. When I look at the mock-ups that didn't come in, like, where did they go? A lot of them got stuck in the second quadrant, where you have to run it by Supreme Being. And what I see about that is that there's a lack of communication with Supreme Being, and it affects your mock-up process all the way to the end. So we already worked on that. Don't worry about it. I already cleared that and gave you a healing on Supreme Being, but I'm noticing like the effects of it all the way into your receiving quadrant. Good. We're starting to get some light in here now. Yeah, I like this. A lot of bright yellow gold is coming into this receiving quadrant. Oh, that's good. That looks really good. I'm happy with that. Let me bring some gold suns in there. That one cleared out really pretty quickly. That surprised me. Because there's usually a lot going on in that quadrant, but that cleared out real quickly. Okay, now I'm going to take a step back and take a look at the energy that affects your creating relationship mock-ups. Well, a lot of control and competition Black and brown energies are the first things that I see. And that would be other people trying to control your relationship space. And that could even be friends who don't want to give you up and see you less when you have a partner. So that competition can be coming from anywhere. There's a lot of white loneliness coming out. Boy, that loneliness is stubborn. One of the things that I see about that loneliness is that there's not a lot of communication to Supreme Being in that vibration. Like I think it's like the result of not giving a hello to Supreme Being. Then there's this other energy. This one's really interesting to me. It's all the energies that try to tell you that you don't deserve a relationship. You don't deserve one. Good. This is starting to break up. Yeah, that was the biggest energy, was that you don't deserve a relationship. The next energy that I'm looking at is the competition that doesn't allow you the time to create a relationship or even consider creating one. So the lack of space and time. Okay. There's also another big cloud of energy, and it's other people's demands on you. So you're not going to have time for a relationship. You have too many demands on you. Everybody wants something from you. So that's the next energy I'm working on. Okay, that's great. That moved a lot of energy out of that space. Let me fill that in with gold. Okay. All right. Now, the next one is money mock-ups. I'm going to take a look at the energy that gets between you and even starting a money mock-up. I think what I'm looking at is like emotions, low, like depression in this space. Also, like the feeling of a lack of information in finances. And much like I was looking at your mock-up space earlier, there's so many people that are in your money space that it also makes it hard for you to create something different. So I'm going to be showing you where all those people are so they can come out. Yeah, it's like a little gray cloud coming out of your money space. Also see the energy of like big institutions programming you, like banks and I don't know, that just big institutions and a level of programming in there. Oh, I see what that is. That is professionals who want you to come to them rather than use your own information to create more money for yourself. Then at the bottom of the money space is this thick layer of gray that I'm working on trying to get out. And it's an energy that makes it really hard for you to just sit down and create a mock-up for money. It's like cement. It's got the energy vibration somewhere along the lines of like, don't make any radical changes. Just don't. That's the energy that I was just telling you about. Okay, this space is now opening up and a pink and a blue is coming in. Okay, that should be easier now for you to do mock-ups for both relationships and money. I'm going to fill the money space in with gold, and then I'm going to walk you through a mock-up so that you can do one for yourself. All right. You've had time to think now about what you would like to mock up. There are 11 steps. I'm going to walk you through them. And some of the things that you'll be putting in the mock-up, I'll be saying, and you can repeat and put it in the mock-up. Okay? All right. The first step, go ahead and close your eyes and bring your awareness into the center of your head and make sure you're grounded when you do this. Okay. Create a rose out on your screen and then create a grounding cord on the stem of the rose. Anchor the grounding cord to the center of the planet and let gravity pull the unwanted energies out of the rose while you will be putting the things into it that you want. What is it that you want? Put a picture of what you want into the rose or bubble. When you create that picture, detail everything. What you don't fill in, the universe will create for you. So think big. Set the energy vibration. What energy would you like to receive your mock-up back in? You can write out the word of the energy vibration you want your mock-up back in. For example, like enthusiasm or joy or satisfaction, and put that written word into your rose. And I like to write my written words with my magic gold marker. So I write the word out in gold and slide it into the rose. Now personalize it. What emotion will you experience when you are receiving this mock-up? Always see yourself in the picture, expressing the emotion of how you will feel when you receive that mock-up. For example, a big smile or the look of relief or accomplishment. Put that picture into your rose now. And when? When do you want this mock-up? You're going to add a statement to the rose, and I'll go ahead and say it and repeat it again so that you can follow along with me. I will receive blank, that's where you put your mock-up in, or something greater that is for the highest and best good for all involved on blank day, at blank time, or sooner. I'll go ahead and say it again so you can be putting it in your rose. I will receive blank or something greater that is for the highest and best good for all involved on blank day at blank time or sooner. Now ask Divinity if there is any communication for you about your mock-up. Is there anything you need to know or do for your mock-up to have it come in? Now ask divinity to give your mock-up a present time blessing. Watch what happens to your rose as it is blessed by Supreme Being. Fill it in with a gold sun. And now start to pull your energy out of the mock-up. Call all of your energy of expectations, demands, hurry up energy, and worry out of the rose. So the rose must be neutral for it to come back to you the way that you want it. I'll go ahead and repeat those vibrations a little more slowly so you can take them out. Call back your expectations, your demands, any hurry up energy, or worry. After you've pulled all of your energy out of this mock-up, you can go ahead and cut the stem of the rose and send your mock-up out to the center of the universe so it can magnetize the energies required for it to manifest in the physical plane. Go ahead and let that mock-up go. And as a little reminder, you never have to figure out how your mock-up is going to come back to you. That is up to the universe to figure out for you. All right, go ahead and create a gold sun above your head. Fill yourself in. Come on out of trance. Yay, you did a great job. Let me close out the healing. May it be with the blessing of divinity that this healing in the sanctuary on our mock-ups tonight be complete. Amen. Okay, great. Ooh, that put me in a good space. I like that. All right, so I just wanted to remind you all that on Thursday and 2 nights, I'm having my women's intuition class on relationships. So I should have called it healing relationships because it's going to be a nice healing in that class. And then we have a Seek and You Will Find coming up next week on Thursday. And then Body Being, I always say that, Body Beautiful is on our joints this month. So that's what's coming up. Thanks for hanging in there with me tonight. And got my eyes on you. And I will see you Thursday night. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.